Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Peoticoat Junction.
Grandpa Miller? Grandpa Miller!
Hey?
Now!
Yes, I know how.
Ben, why did you have to bring him along?
I can't leave him home. He plays the phonograph so loud my chickens panic and nearly kill themselves flying against the coop.
All right, let's take it from the top again. 1 and 2 and...
Joe, your beat's too slow. It ought to go da 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 da.
Sam, I'm the leader. I'll set the beat.
How come you're the leader?
Because I'm a chief.
Well, why should you be chief?
Because I'm wearing the white helmet.
It was red. You just painted it white.
Listen, do you want to rehearse or do you want to discuss politics? All right, now, let's take it from the top. 1 and 2 and... Musical term is take 5.
Do you realize that since you started rehearsing, we've lost 2 paying guests?
Mr. Wilson's still here.
Yes, and I'd like him to stay here. So why don't you rehearse on the train while it's moving? That way you'll spread the punishment between Pixley and Hooterville.
We can't run the train while we're rehearsing. Floyd's using part of the air brake on his tuba.
Yeah. Don't that sound like the cannonball slowing down for Dead Man's Curve? Hey, Dead Man's Curve. I'll say he's got a nerve. Who made him leader?
Grandpappy, you...
Mr. Wilson! Mr. Wilson! That did it.
Kate, you gotta make some sacrifices. Don't you want us to have a fire department band?
I think it'd be a smarter idea to have a fire department first.
That's what I've been saying right along.
Well, how are you going to equip a fire department without any money? That's the idea of the band. Give a concert, sell tickets.
You don't think that anybody in their right minds would pay money to listen to what I've been suffering through tonight, including the loss of paying guests?
That's what I've been saying right along.
I thought you'd been saying we need the fire department before we need the band.
And I still say it, and Kate's right. We won't make a nickel with this outfit. If people want to listen to noisy plumbing, they'd be better off staying home.
Trouble with you is, Sam, you ain't got no ear for music.
Trouble is, I have.
Fellas, all I'm trying to say is there's got to be a better way to raise money.
Then let's see you come up with it. I'm resigning my fundraising genius and turning the leading stick over to you.
Well, guess he laid that right in my lap.
Yeah, I guess Ben is taking a nap.
the little cards to tack on the donation cans.
The girls finished painting the cans yet?
Just about, just about. And then we're going to put them in every store in town, the barber shop, the school.
Kate, I'm sure glad you took over this fundraising. One thing the valley needs is a fire department.
Yeah, so far we've been pretty lucky.
I suppose Joe's nose is still out of joint.
Way over to there. All he does is sit around mumbling and grumbling.
They don't want me to handle this, I won't handle it. I ain't one to grumble. They'll come a-crying to me on their hands and knees when this thing fizzles out.
Can't we paint these cans some other color besides red?
It's supposed to represent the color of a fire engine. It's, psychological.
Excuse me.
Psychological? In my day, young ladies didn't use that kind of language.
What'd you say, Uncle Joe?
Oh, nothing.
Would you like to help us paint?
No, thanks. I ain't getting mixed up in any penny-ante fundraising schemes. If this had been left to me in no time at all, we'd have been whizzing along on the hook and ladder with a siren wide open.
Well, when the cans are all nice and dry, do you want to help us distribute them?
I'm sorry, girls. I'm washing my hands of the whole thing.
$90, $1.20, $30, $40, $50.
Hey, what's the matter with him?
He's guarding the collection.
Don't you know an honest face when you see one stupid? Yeah, I know how you can make a couple of quick bucks. Raffle him off as a dust mop.
Uncle Joe, quit picking up. Oh, now you made me lose count. Oh, Mom, do I have to start all over again?
Well...
Mom, we've already counted them 3 different times.
How much to come to?
$62.48, $62.21, $62.36.
Why don't we just say $62.40 even?
$62? That won't even buy a year's supply of pinochle decks for the volunteer. When you need professional help, I'll be around.
Professional help? That's just what we could use.
Gee, back so soon?
Uh-huh. Sam agreed about getting professional help, and he gave me the name and address of a company who makes firefighting equipment. So could I borrow some of your good writing paper?
Well, if you're going to write to them, why don't you dictate the letter to me? I could use the practice in shorthand.
Yeah, but I never dictated a letter.
Well, it's easy. All you do is you say what you'd write.
Oh. Well, why don't I write it first and then say it?
That'd be silly. Just dictate what you were going to write.
Well, I was going to write first the man's name and address.
Mr. Henry Phillips, Trojan Fire Equipment Company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead, Mom.
You got that all written?
Sure, this is shorthand.
Dear Mr. Phillips.
Okay.
Well, now, you couldn't have written that.
Sure. Dear Mr. Phillips.
That's what I said. You don't know me, but I live in Hooterville. A very nice little town in every respect, except we don't have a fire department. Sam Drucker told me you folks helped the fellas over at Squaw Creek set up their fire department. We can use all the help you gave them and then some.
Kate Bradley, where's your civic pride? Writing to an outsider for help.
Uncle Joe, we need help.
Maybe you do, but I don't. I've been watching you knock your head against a stone wall, and I think it's about time I step back into the picture.
Uncle Joe.
Pride goeth before the fall, and I'm here to pick you up.
With that stale band concert?
What would you say if I told you I could get a fully equipped fire department for that measly $62 you collected?
I'd say you'd been nipping at my cooking sherry. Now,
Go ahead,
if you would...
Kate. Make us a laughing stock of the whole state. What's that outfit going to think when they learn you've only got $62 to spend on the whole shebang?
How come you say you can get the equipment and they can't?
Because I'm a fire chief. I'm entitled to the professional discount, and I'm not out to gouge a profit out of us like they are.
Mom, I'm sure this Mr. Phillips will be glad to help out, but with only $62, I mean...
Uncle Joe.
Thanks, Kate. It takes a big person to admit she was plumb wrong.
I just don't understand how Kate could have let you do this.
Because I told her I could get all our fire department equipment within the budget.
Equipment? This is junk.
It's no wonder I'm chief. You fellas don't know the first thing about firefighting equipment. Just needs a little rehabilitating. Will you just help me inventory it and mark down the prices I paid? Now, here's one safety jumping net.
That's Peck Cooper's tarpaulin he uses to keep his wood pile dry.
How much did you give for that, Joe?
I dickered him down to $3.85.
$3 and he should have thrown in a cord of wood for that.
Unofficial firefighting searchlight, which I purchased from Lem Hoskins for 55 cents.
It'll cost close to $1 to get a bulb and batteries and a new glass for that.
It's still a bargain. You show me where you can get an official firefighting searchlight for that kind of money.
How much did you pay for this?
$2.95, and I bought this hose from...
Who gypped you out at $2.95?
Please, Sam. I bought this hose from...
One brand new axe, Joe Carson.
All it needs is a handle to make it new. Put one in, will you, Sam?
Well, who's going to pay for it?
You.
Me?
This is a volunteer fire department. You're volunteering it.
This ladder don't look too bad if you don't pick it up.
All it needs is a little glue.
How much you give me for this, Joe?
Got out of the baggage compartment?
Yeah. Hey, it ain't loaded.
Well, get it loaded and put it back. What would we do if there was a fire on the train?
Call the volunteer fire department.
And the total cost spent for the firefighting equipment was $36, including a brand new axe I threw in.
That's unbelievable.
Oh, don't say that till you see it.
And you still got $26 left.
No, we spent that for the fire alarms.
Well, what kind of fire alarms could you get for $26?
You'll see when they get here.
Uncle Joe is... Well, he's got... Oh, Mom, you just won't believe it. You better come down and see for yourself.
Oh, no.
I told you wouldn't believe it.
Uncle Joe?
Hi, Keith. That about all, Floyd?
Yeah.
What are these?
Skyrockets, Roman candles, and aerial bombs.
$26 worth.
Joe bought them from the Elks' 4th of July picnic that got rained out.
What for?
They're fire alarms. We give a skyrocket to each farmer in the valley. In case of a fire, he sends up the rocket, the volunteers see it and come running.
Is that what you... Oh, I should have known better.
Kate, the trouble with you is you don't think big.
I am thinking big. In fact, what I am thinking is so big, I could go to the electric chair for it.
Floyd, tell Charlie to lay off oil in the engine. Come and help us get this fireworks up to the hotel.
Hold it. You're not keeping this up at the hotel. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure I'm keeping you. Come on, Betty Jo.
What are we going to do with it?
Let's leave it in the Hooterville station temporary. Women, they just ain't practical.
Betty Jo? Have you still got those hen scratchings of that letter I dictated to Mr. Phillips?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, would you please type them up and mail them to him? Special delivery.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, young lady. Can you tell me how to get to the Shady Rest Hotel?
Are you Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
I'm Betty Jo Bradley. Mom got your letter and sent me to bring you out.
Oh, do you have a car?
Sure, right around the corner.
Good.
Volunteers, I'm about to sound the alarm. Get ready to wake up.
What's going on?
Hey, I got 2 left ones.
Well, that's mine.
Well, this ain't mine.
That's mine.
Hold it. By the time you get booted up, the whole town could burn down.
Wouldn't it be easier if we slept in our boots?
You want to do this professional or amateur?
I don't want to do it at all. I want to get back to my store.
Why don't we get one of them brass poles the firemen slide down?
Where are you gonna get a brass pole?
Well, there's one up in Pixley in the speakeasy they closed up during Prohibition. I don't know whether it's any good or not. It's lying on its side.
Lying on its side?
Well, if you're so smart, you find one that's standing up.
We're gonna stand here jawing all day. Now get them boots off and let's try waking up again. And this time, put more zip in the drill.
There's not going to be any more pounding up and down the stairs drilling in this hotel.
Oh,
And I don't know what you're doing it for anyway. Mr. Phillips will be here today to take charge.
Oh, that's why we had to rush over here. You knew he was coming. You were afraid he'd show you up.
Yeah, he wants to be the big cheese.
What does this Phillips know?
He's an expert. He manufactures fire equipment.
We don't want any outsiders meddling in our affairs.
No, we got you to meddle in them.
Look, if you don't want me to be the chief, all you got to do is just say so.
We don't want you to be chief.
Lucky thing I can take your kidding.
I wasn't kidding.
I'll accept your apology. Now let's get on with the hook and ladder drill.
When you said car, I thought you meant a...
This is the only kind of car that could take us to Shady Rest. Care to share a handle with me?
Delighted.
Okay, by the numbers. 1, 2.
What's the sense in having a hook and ladder drill if you ain't got somebody to carry down the ladder?
It's not going to be me.
Hi, Uncle Joe.
Betty Jo, would you like to volunteer your services to be carried down a ladder?
No, thank you. Mom, your guest is here.
Nobody wants to help. Who are you?
Well, how do you do, Chief? My name is Phillips.
Oh, you're the outsider's going to tell us how to run the fire department.
Oh, no. No, sir, I'm not going to tell you how to run it. I'm just here to help you in any way I can.
You really want to help?
Well, of course I do.
What in the name of...
That sounds like Mr. Phillips.
Well, come on.
That's right, Mr. Phillips. Act panic struck.
He ain't acting. Joe, this is the silliest.
Well, he wanted to help, didn't he? That's your big city fire expert. Afraid he'll fall out of a second-story window. Don't worry, you're in the capable hands of the Hooterville Fire Department.
Help me! Let go, I told you, let go! Floyd, pull him back in.
I can't. Where's Charlie with the ladder?
This is all I could find of it.
For crying out loud. Where's that tarpaulin? Help! Oh, there it is.
My man!
Don't panic, Kate. I'm in charge.
Girls, give us a hand with this.
Lloyd, hang on to him.
I'm doing the best I can.
All right, steady, man. Steady. Everybody brace themselves.
Stop bouncing him. That chicken broth's better for you than a shot of penicillin. It'll take that wobbly feeling out of your legs.
Well, I am a little better.
I sure hope you didn't mean all those things you yelled about taking legal action against the fellas.
Well, I did at the time. And then you saved my life.
All I did was stop them from bouncing you.
No. I meant after that. When you prevented them from giving me artificial respiration.
Well, you can see what we're up against trying to organize a fire department.
You know, Miss Bradley, I've been thinking. You know that train?
The cannonball?
Yes. That train might well solve your firefighting problems.
Well, if it's going to cost any money, forget it.
You know, money isn't always the answer, Mrs. Bradley. Perhaps we can work out a barter arrangement.
I now christen the fire engine train number 1.
You got chicken broth all over the tender.
Oh, quit complaining, Floyd. If it hadn't been for Kate's chicken broth, Mr. Phillips would never have donated that pump and hose.
Yeah, that was a pretty smart deal I made with him.
You made? Why, he wouldn't even talk to you after he fell out of the window.
Yeah, Kate's the one that made the arrangements to send him a jar of chicken broth every month in exchange for the equipment.
Well, let's get on with the rest of the dedication ceremony. Folks, standing in front of the Hooterville station, 25 miles away, Newt Kiley is waiting to light the same kind of fire alarm rocket your fire department is going to distribute to every farm and home in the valley. Newt will set off his rocket at precisely 8 o'clock, indicating a false alarm fire. Upon seeing the signal, the members of the Hooterville Fire Department will spring into action, jump on Fire Department train number 1, and race to the scene of the false alarm fire and let on like they're putting it out. In the meantime, you'll be serenaded with several selections by the Hooterville Volunteer Fire Department Band. I thank you.
You know, Mom, I think this rocket idea of Uncle Joe's kind of makes sense.
We'll see.
Hold it, Floyd. This is no time to practice.
I ain't practicing. I'm just seeing that the air brake valve's working. I'm ready.
Ready. 1 and 2 and... Signal rocket has just been sighted. The volunteers will now lay down their instruments and calmly walk to the train.
Look, there's another one.
That darn fool, Newt. He was only supposed to light one. Once aboard the train, the engineer will...
I think that last one must have been an aerial bomb.
Newt, nobody told him to haul all that fireworks out of the station and set it off.
I got a strange feeling he didn't haul it out of the station.
This is the real thing. Follow me, men. Wait for me.
Come on, girls, let's start some coffee brewing. They're gonna need it.
Oh, can't we stay and watch? It's beautiful. It's just like the 4th of July.
The train must be coming.
I didn't hear the whistle.
Well, he can hear it for miles. It's morning.
They've been out all night.
Say, we better heat up the coffee and warm up those donuts we made, huh?
I didn't hear the train. Maybe he was dreaming.
Nope, that's his train bark.
Mom!
Where's the cannonball?
This is a cannonball.
What happened to the train?
I couldn't stop it, and it ran off the end of the track at Hooterville. Floyd left the air brake part here on his tuba.
At least the fire pump worked, Kate. We hooked up the hose, turned it on, and you should have seen that stream of water squirting out.
It's too bad it didn't run off the track closer to the fire.
You mean the station? You didn't save any of it? Hoot.
Junction. This has been a Filmways presentation.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Peoticoat Junction.
One second later, and you'd have been in here, and your tail would have been wagging outside. Hold it. Don't you hide that in the kitchen. You just put it down somewhere till later.
What's the matter? What's the matter? I'll tell.
There's a storm coming up. You better latch the door of the chicken coop.
Chicken coop?
And next time, finish your supper at the table.
Thought we had fish for dinner.
Girls! We're finishing the dishes, Mom.
You can do them later. Betty, you go on upstairs and close the windows and tell Mr. Richardson to close his.
Yes, ma'am.
And Billy, Bobby, see that the porch swing is covered and that the rockers are protected, huh? Then everybody report back to the lobby for pot detail. There's always been another leak around here somewhere. Ah, I thought so. Next time, ask somebody.
Hello.
Oh, your room all right, Mr. Richardson?
Fine.
Good.
Just thought I'd sit down here in the lobby for a while, read my magazine.
Oh, don't sit there, Mr. Richardson.
Couch is comfortable.
Thank you.
Well, it's quite a storm. It's real Chester Farnsworth weather.
Chester Farnsworth weather?
Yeah, you see,
I don't think that Mr. Richardson would be interested in that story, Uncle Joe. Would you, Mr. Richardson?
No, I don't think I'd be interested, Mr. Carson.
How do you know when you ain't even heard the story?
He came down here to read his magazine.
Huh? You won't read no stories in that magazine half as exciting as The Curse of Chester Farnsworth.
Curse of Chester Farnsworth?
All right, you got him hooked. Tell him the story.
Well, you see...
Just a lot of plain foolishness.
You see...
I don't even know why you're taking his time.
Katie, you gonna let me tell this story, or ain't you?
Well, I guess I won't be able to stop you.
What's the matter? Uncle Joe's gonna tell the Chester Farnsworth story. It's about that time of year again.
It was just about this time of year, over 50 years ago, on just such a night as this, with a lightning and a lightning, the thunder was a thundering.
You're sure getting sensational cooperation.
The rain was a pouring, and upstairs in room 4, the very same room you're in,
A dapper young drummer, who was the greatest towel snatcher of his time, was packing his satchel.
Cincinnati Inn, and in mint condition. Clyde City YMCA. Beautiful. Martha Washington House. And they said it couldn't be done. Now, one more towel to add to my collection. Shady Rest Hotel. There's not another drummer in the country that can match my collection of towels.
And sometime that night, after he'd packed the Shady Rest towel with the rest of his ill-gotten loot, Chester Farnsworth came down those stairs, went out that door, into the storm, and was never seen alive again.
What was that?
The ghost of Chester W. Farthington.
Farnsworth.
Farnsworth.
You sure blew that one.
You girls can laugh at the story if you want to, but it wasn't funny to old Chester. Now, what happened to him?
Mr. Richardson, wouldn't you like some pine coffee?
I'm not through yet, Kate.
You are, as far as I'm concerned.
Why don't you want me to tell this story?
Because it's a lot of nonsense.
I suppose it was a lot of nonsense when his ghost was seen wandering around the halls of the Clyde City YMCA trying to get back into his old room.
His ghost?
He was trying to return a towel he took. You see, Chester was condemned to wander the face of the earth, returning the towels he took, before his spirit could apply for admission to that great sales room in the sky. Them towels have been turning up regular through the years. And I figure pretty soon the Shady Rest is due for a visit from old Chester.
That's a very fascinating story. Well, I'll see you in the morning.
Good night. Uncle Joe, what are you trying to do? Give the Shady Rest the reputation of being haunted?
Oh, it didn't bother him none.
It bothered me. I'm not going to sleep a wink tonight.
Count sheep.
Or towels. I heard it. Wipe your feet first. Mr. Richardson, the cannonball's coming.
Be right down, Mrs. Bradley.
Well, how much do I owe you?
Same as always, $3.
I've been thinking of raising the rates, but then the guests would probably expect fancier cooking.
And a younger bellboy. Would you mind taking Mr. Richardson's suitcase down the train?
Oh, no, I'll take it. He doesn't seem to want me to take my bag.
Behave yourself. Now put that down. It belongs to Mr. Richardson.
Funny way to spell Richardson.
Mr. Richardson.
Mrs. Bradley, I can explain.
Yeah, I'll bet you can. What else you got stashed in there?
Uncle Joe.
It's a good thing I trained that dog in towel retrieving, or I guess it'd be drying on old newspapers.
Miss Bradley, you've known me for years, haven't you?
Well, yes, I have, and that's why I can't understand you doing a thing like this.
Well, I can't understand it either. A few minutes ago, when I was packing, I got this strange urge to take that towel. It's just like somebody was making me do it.
Chester Farnsworth. The last of the great towel snatchers. He's come back.
Well, if he has, he better register.
I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Richardson. At one time or another, all of us get the urge to do something we shouldn't.
Bye. Bye.
Uncle Joe, we are going to have a little talk.
Chester wants his key. About that Chester...
Uncle Joe.
Relax. I was only asking about that chest of drawers I was supposed to paint.
Don't mention a chest of nothing. That's an unmentionable word around here.
But
now, look, for the first time in months, we're expecting a full house. And I don't want you entertaining our guests with any of your made-up spooky stories.
Kate,
I'm warning you.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Kate.
What's the matter with Floyd?
He's afraid to come in.
Why?
He's scared of Chester Farnsworth.
Who told him?
Don't look at me.
If you come outside, I'll be glad to tell you about it.
You come on in here, Floyd. There's nothing to be afraid of.
I don't suppose he'd be around in the broad of daylight.
Nor in the dark of night, either.
But Mr. Richardson told me...
Richardson?
Yeah, he was really shook up when he got on the train. He was pale as a ghost.
Floyd, you come back in here. Now, fellas, all this talk about... Where are your passengers?
We ain't got none.
But I was expecting 6 salesmen to come in with you on this run.
They ain't coming.
Why not?
Well, they ran into that Mr. Richardson in Pixley.
I see.
And they told me to tell you that they're sorry, but they're going to skip the Shady Rest this trip.
Fine.
They might make it next trip if Chester Farnsworth ain't still moaning around.
Uncle Joe, I hope you're satisfied. By the time Richardson gets through with that story, there won't be a salesman in the county who'll spend the night here, including Chester. I dug this out of the attic so as we can settle Chester once and for all. Now, this is the register that you claim covers the period that Chester stayed here.
He did.
Show me.
But
If his name is in there, I'll apologize. And if it isn't, well, you're leaving anyway.
Kate, you wouldn't really.
Show me.
An awful lot of names in here.
Well, wouldn't it be the same month as this, Uncle Joe?
Yeah, I guess so.
Mom!
It's him. Yeah, I had room 4.
I told you.
Look at the date he registered.
In another week, it'll be old Chester's anniversary.
Of what?
Of the last mortal towel he ever swiped. He's probably been hanging around waiting till then to return it. So's the curse will be off and they'll let him in the big sales room in the sky with a clear conscience.
Mom? Can things like that really...
Well, I've... Well, there's got to be an explanation.
Like what?
The hotel settling?
Sure, that's what it is. Ain't it, Chester?
Come on, Andy. You gotta go to sleep. midnight. Oh, that's nothing to be afraid of. That's Uncle Joe gargling. What's Uncle Joe doing gargling at this time of night?
Who is it?
It's me.
What's the matter?
Uncle Joe, were you gargling?
Gargling? What would I be gargling for this time of night?
I must have been dreaming. It just isn't possible. It isn't possible, is it, Doc?
Not scientifically, no, but then there are a lot of things that science can't explain. Oh, I've seen some mighty weird things in my time.
Yeah. What are you looking for?
Tranquilizer to relax you. They keep sending me samples of these new wonder drugs. You wonder if they're any better than aspirin. You aren't bothered with Paraclinium aureus, are you?
No, just with Chester Farnsworth. Now, Doc, what am I going to do?
Intended for chronic plasticemia. That's a new one on me. You know, you miss one episode of those doctor shows, you don't know what's going on in the medical world.
I didn't come for pills. I came for advice.
Frankly, Kate, I don't know what to advise you. In all the years that I've been practicing... Hey, wait a minute. Dex Melman.
I told you I don't need any medicine.
No, Dex a fellow I went to medical school with. Always interested in psychic phenomena. And, you know, the weird and the unexplained. You ought to see his wife. She's a weird one he's never been able to explain.
Doc.
Oh, but seriously, Kate, he's a psychiatrist. He's written several articles on the subject. Why don't you get in touch with him? He lives upstate. Maybe he'd be interested in meeting Chester.
That's the original towel rack, Mrs. Bradley?
The same one, Dr. Melman.
We better leave Mr. Farnsworth room to return his towel.
Dex, you don't really think that he might...
Of course he might. He's getting tired of wandering around dragging an old towel through the hereafter.
Uncle Joe, why don't you let Dr. Melman handle this? He's the expert.
Fine expert killing $1 million business.
Uncle Joe wanted to sell tickets for Chester's homecoming.
I asked you to come here. I just wanted to make Kate feel better. But now that you're here, I don't know what to believe.
But I've investigated many of these occurrences for a long while now. And I don't know what to believe myself.
You mean to say you think there's a possibility that tomorrow morning we might find an old towel hanging in that rack?
All I can tell you is I investigated a case in Canada where years ago a ghost had been seen in the library of the Kenniston Mansion, apparently searching for a copy of an old book of love poems which he had written. And one night, the book disappeared, and the ghost was never seen again.
Then, if there's a towel there tomorrow morning, we're rid of Chester?
That's a fair assumption?
Oh, the happiest moment of my life will be when I can broadcast the fact that Chester's left the Shady Rest for good, and we're open for human business.
This is perfect Chester Farnsworth weather.
What's that?
Don't leave that bone on the rug for Chester to trip over.
Do you think we should have baked Chester an anniversary cake? Maybe we've still got time. When will he be here?
We don't want to miss him.
You girls are going up to your room and locking your doors until morning.
Oh, Mom.
And I'm doing the same thing. How about you, Uncle Joe?
Oh, I think
Go
I'll...
ahead, Joe.
At least ought to get to say goodnight to him.
We'll tell him what room you're in.
Well, good night. I hope you... How can you think of eating at a time like this?
What do we do?
Sit and wait.
Aren't you scared?
No.
How come?
Don't they send you samples of tranquilizers?
Chester. You want to scare him away? Here.
And there was the towel on the rack.
And Chester snuck in and put it back?
That's what Dr. Melman said.
Well, if that don't beat a note in the milk bottle.
What does that mean?
I just say 'em, I don't explain 'em.
Did you see the towel yourself, Betty Jo?
Yes, and I've never seen one like it before. Mom said it was the kind of towel they used in the hotel long before she was born.
Well, I'll be doggone.
What does that mean?
Mom said to be sure to spread the word around Pixley that the hotel's been de-haunted.
Well, don't worry, we will, just as soon as we take Doc Stewart and Doc Melman back to Hooterville.
I don't know how to thank you, Dr. Melman, for coming here to help us get rid of Chester.
I really didn't do anything.
Except ruin Kate's only chance to become a rich widow.
I've got something for you. I want you to have Chester's towel as a memento of last night.
Well, thank you. As a matter of fact, I have another memento of last night.
Dex had a camera with infrared film in it hidden in the room.
He did?
I developed it early this morning.
You mean you actually got a picture of Chester? Now I know how Mr. Richardson felt when he got caught with a towel in his valise.
Well, Mrs. Bradley?
Dr. Melman, I waited till nearly 5 o'clock this morning for Chester to do his dirty work. And when he didn't show up, I sneaked into the room with my pass key and helped him out. You see, I had to get rid of Chester so folks wouldn't be afraid to stay here.
I understand. I don't think Chester will bother you again.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. And thank you, too, Doc.
My pleasure. Tell me, Kate, where'd you get that old towel?
I found it up in the attic when I went looking for the old register. That's the last one in existence.
What?
I'm going to clean up for, air it out good, and forget about Chester forever. All right, girls, we'll start with the bed, then the dusting, and then...
Mom, I thought you were going to give that towel to Dr. Melman.
I did.
Where did that one come from?
Chester must have taken 2.
I guess so. Goodbye, Chester Farnsworth. Wherever you are.
Junction. This has been a Filmways presentation.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Peoticoat Junction.
Oh, wonderful. Is there anything from... Oh, Betty Joe, you've been dunking that dog in Billy Joe's bubble bath again.
No, ma'am.
You've been dunking yourself?
No.
And what in the world?
Uncle Joe got a perfumed letter.
Our Uncle Joe?
Joseph Carson, Esquire.
Well.
Hey, did I get anything?
What is that?
Don't look at me.
Uncle Joe got a letter.
Well, vive la France.
Did I get a letter from Betty Joe? I told you to stay out of my bubble bath.
It's not me. Uncle Joe got a letter.
Hey, old rocking chair hasn't got him yet.
Who's it from? All it says in the back is S-W-A-K.
Sealed with a kiss.
Good morning, Uncle Joe.
There's the mail in.
Can't you smell it?
Huh?
Give Esquire his letter.
You know it's against the law to sniff other people's United States mail?
Joe, who's it from?
Probably from my insurance agent.
S-W-A-K?
Smith, Waterfield, and Klein Smith. Dear Mrs. Perkins, dear Mary Alice, sweetheart, mail in.
I don't know, but the train's in.
Any mail for me?
Oh, I think so.
Thanks, Betty Joe.
I'm Billy Joe.
Anything for me?
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Billy Joe.
I'm Bobby Joe.
If you're looking for the stamps, I hid them.
What'd you do that for?
Because the way you've been using them lately, you'd think we were printing them ourselves.
Kate, where'd you put the stamps?
No stamps till I find out who you're writing to.
But, Kate, this is private and personal.
Use your own stamps.
Kate.
Uncle Joe, you're not fooling anybody. We know you're corresponding with some woman. Who is she?
In the words of that famous president, I do not choose to tell.
Did
you find anything out?
Just what some famous president said.
That's all.
Mom, we can't stand it any longer. We've got to find out who she is.
Well, it's eating at my curiosity, too.
There must be some way of finding out.
I know. Next time he gets a letter, why don't you steam it open?
Bobby Joe, I wouldn't do a thing like that unless the other idea I have doesn't work. Guess who?
My witty bitty wabbit.
What's your witty-bitty wabbit's name?
Mary Alice.
Mary Alice Schwigheimer.
No, Perkins. I mean... Kate.
So that's why you didn't want us to know who you were writing to.
Now, Kate.
After what she did to you.
She didn't do nothing to me.
Oh, no. She just left you standing at the altar with a wedding ring in one hand and a Dear Joe letter in the other.
It wasn't a letter. It was a postcard.
Oh, yeah, from Niagara Falls, where she was honeymooning with your best man. Having a wonderful time. Naturally, you can't be here.
Woman's got a right to change her mind.
She certainly waited till the last minute. They played 6 choruses of Here Comes the Bride, and all that came down the aisle was the carpet.
That's all water over Niagara Falls now. George Perkins has gone to his glory. That's why she wrote to me to let me know and ask my forgiveness.
And you forgave her. Oh, Uncle Joe.
Kate, you know why I've been a bachelor all these years? Not because I wanted to, but because there was no one else for me but Mary Alice.
Ah, Mary Alice.
You think I've enjoyed being lonely all these years? Sleeping in a cold bed with nobody's warm feet to my back but my own? Man don't often get a second time to strike out in the World Series of love. Kate, you wouldn't begrudge me one brief moment of happiness in the reclining years of my life, would you?
You know I don't.
All I ask is a little understanding. If I can forgive Mary Alice, why can't you?
I guess you're right.
If someday you should meet her again, you'd be nice to her, wouldn't you?
Oh, of course I would.
I'm awful glad you feel that way, because this letter should tell me what time she's arriving here tomorrow.
She's coming here?
Kate, congratulations is in order. Mary Alice finally accepted my proposal again. Maybe Mary Alice would like to have it on her bed.
Well, I think she would.
Say, you think I should hang this on the wall?
Why? The room doesn't leak.
Oh, it's an engagement present for me and Mary Alice from the Hooterville Canoe Club. See, I've been unable to locate our twin raccoon-covered bicycle seats the touring club gave us for our tandem.
Uncle Joe, aren't you supposed to return presents when somebody breaks an engagement?
Mary Alice never broke an engagement. She just married somebody else for the time being. Don't you think you ought to get fixed up or something? She'll be here any minute.
Yes. We'll do what we're supposed to do. Why don't you go get yourself slickered up, huh? Go on. Betty Jo, would you put this on the bed, dear?
I pine for you and balsam too.
Brother, the expression is, oh, you kid.
You know, I just can't get over Uncle Joe getting married.
Why shouldn't he?
Well, she left him waiting at the altar.
Now, girls, let me make one thing clear. What's past is past. And if Uncle Joe can forgive and forget, the least we can do is go along with him.
All the way?
All the way.
All right, let's nail the paddle on the wall.
Well, we might draw the line somewhere.
Where is she?
She's getting her things together.
Well, why didn't you give her a hand?
Calm down. You are as squirmy as a man on a raccoon-covered bicycle seat.
Look, boy.
Joe.
Mary Alice.
Oh, Joseph, let me look at you.
I wasn't sure you'd recognize me. That's why I wore the carnation.
Better not stay in the sun too long or the wax will melt.
You haven't changed a bit.
Just as young and handsome as ever.
Oh, Mary Alice.
Ain't you gonna kiss her, Joe?
Floyd.
Kiss her or get out of the canoe.
Mind your own business.
I think it's a splendid suggestion.
Uncle Joe, they're just teasing you.
Kate!
Okay, she'll be your new aunt-in-law.
Mary Alice, it's so nice to see you.
Oh, Joseph has always been so wonderful and forgiving. I didn't know if...
Oh, the past is forgotten. And if you need a flower girl, I'm available. I want you to meet the rest of my family. These are my 3 daughters in the order of their appearance. Billy Joe, Bobby Joe, and Betty Joe.
Hi. Why, they're beautiful. No sons?
No,
The Joe on their names is in honor of me. Kate was hoping to name one of them just plain Joe, but they didn't turn out right.
Anyway, that's the family.
We forgot the dog.
Oh, he ain't worth meeting. That's just a mutt that incinerated his way into our affections with a hard luck story.
Cute. Well, let's all go up to the hotel, huh?
Oh, yes. I'm dying to see it.
Hey, Romeo, how about Mary Alice's bags?
Bring them up to the hotel, boy.
We'll help you, Floyd.
Thanks. Thinks he's a big man just 'cause he's got brilliantine on his hair.
Here we are, Mary Alice. It ain't much, but we call it home.
It's charming. Just the way I remembered it. You haven't made one single improvement.
Well,
You know, Kate, when George and I were in Europe, we paid money to go through old ruins that weren't half as quaint as this.
Thank you. I never thought of charging for looking.
You know, Kate, being a widow myself, I know how grateful you must feel to have someone like Joseph to help you take care of the little you have.
Yes, little.
If it hadn't been for Boo-Boo, I don't know what I would have done.
Who's Boo-Boo?
Boone Webster, George's lawyer and our dear friend. Well, Boo was just a tower of strength.
Well, you should have wrote me. I would have towered for you just like I did Kate. I just stuck around here because she needed me to keep her from going under.
Yes, Uncle Joe's been like a pair of water wings to me.
My Jojo was always so unselfish, so willing to give of himself, even when he's being taken advantage of.
Oh, Mary Alice.
Not only is he unselfish and willing to be taken advantage of, but he does a great imitation of a short, fat Jimmy Stewart. Why don't you show Mary Alice to her room?
Oh, here, let me take those bags.
When the bellboy closed the door and George locked it and turned to me, I said to myself, oh, what have I done to my poor Jojo?
It was darn nice of you to think of me at a time like that.
I sent you a postcard as soon as I could.
Oh, well, even if you hadn't, I'd have known everything was off when you mailed me back my elk's tooth.
Joe, you still have it?
Brush it every morning.
And you've never given it to anyone else?
I've never known another girl worthy to wear my tooth.
Joe, I'm such a lucky girl.
I just wanted to see if your room was all right.
Oh, it's just wonderful.
Oh, I forgot. You have the bathroom exclusive from 8 to 8:30.
That's prime time after Billy Joe.
You're sure I'm not inconveniencing anyone?
Oh, of course not. Betty Jo won't mind getting up an hour earlier.
Now, wait just a second, Joseph. I don't think it's right for the girls to have to rearrange their routine for me.
Oh, they don't mind.
Kate, they're your daughters, and this is your home. And I am not going to interfere.
to rearrange the lobby.
No kidding. For a minute, I thought I was in the wrong hotel.
Sure a big improvement over the way you had the furniture stuck around.
There was nothing wrong with the way it was.
You don't like it?
Of course she does, honey. Don't you, Kate?
Well,
I modeled it after the way they have the lobby arranged at Claridge's. That's in London.
It's London, Europe.
Mary Alice.
Oh, Kate, you don't have to apologize. I understand perfectly. Just like my grandmother. The older she got, the more she resisted any little change. Of course, you're not as old as my grandmother, but this is your hotel, and I'm not going to interfere.
And a large box of raisins.
Need any help? I've got on my working clothes. Oh, that's cute. I bought it in Paris, France.
Oh, that's where it is.
Oh, you did the breakfast dishes.
Yeah, I don't like them hanging around after lunch.
But you promised to call me.
I did.
Really? I don't know how I missed hearing you.
Maybe the pillow was over your ear while you were napping.
Well, I'm at your service.
Well, there's really not much to do right now. I was just dictating a shopping list to Billy Joe.
Don't let me interfere.
Let's see. Oh, you better put down,
Is that shorthand?
Yes, ma'am.
Billy Joe's studying to be a secretary.
Well, you're a good girl. Learning a trade to help support your mother.
Well, what was the last thing we had on the list?
1 large box of raisins.
Oh, yes. I need a 5-pound sack of maypole flour.
Maypole flour? Oh, are they still making that? I guess so. I'm still using it.
We need a can of...
Have you ever tried O'Donnell's pre-sifted flour? It's got vitamin B1.
I like maypole. It's got lumps.
Really, Kate, it would have made such a difference in that cake you served last night.
Mom wouldn't hurt to try.
Well, don't let me interfere. But if you want to be old-fashioned...
We need a new knife sharpener.
Thanks for everything, Aunt Mary Alice.
Have a lovely time, dear.
I will.
Night, Mom. Good night, Betty Joe. Betty Joe? Come back here. You mind telling me just what you're made up for?
The dance at the high school gym.
Who's taking you, Rex Harrison? You march in your room, scrub your face, take off that nightgown, and put that possum back in the trap.
This is real mink, and this is real French.
And I'm real mad. Now, you do as I say.
But Aunt Mary Alice
Aunt Mary Alice.
Oh, doesn't our little girl look just darling?
Mom doesn't like it.
Oh, dear.
Mom, can I...
No, you go in and change.
But, Mom...
Do as your mother says, Betty Joe.
Okay, if you say so.
I do. I'm terribly sorry, Kate. I certainly didn't mean to interfere.
Oh, gee, Mom, you're so old-fashioned. No wonder you never got to go to Europe.
Does the precious little doggy want to sleep in Aunt Alice's itty-bitty room? You don't mind, do you?
Not one itty-bitty bit. Uncle Joe? Uncle Joe?
Mary Alice gave it to me. George had hardly worn it.
Uncle Joe, I think it's time we had a little talk.
Billy, put this on that hook up there. Oh, hold it. Wait.
Throw me up the dough.
Now put that stuff back over here. Sam, that don't belong up there.
It does, too. Hey, hold that, stupid.
You don't know the first thing about a wet.
I know more than you do. Here, hold this. Over, Pete.
Quiet! I'm trying to rehearse.
Well, you better rehearse Joe. In all the hundreds of weddings I've performed at, I never saw a groom so unlikely to succeed. Go put on a tie.
I'm just trying this coat on to see if it still fits.
Well, it fits, but you don't. You must have put on 30 pounds since you wore that at your jilting.
Kate, can you fix this?
Uncle Joe, I got a million things to do before the wedding tomorrow.
Well, what am I gonna wear?
Watch it!
Excuse me. Oh, we ain't got any vacancies. The place is sold out for a wedding. I told him we ain't got no vacancies.
Oh, Joseph, this is Boo Boo Webster, George's devout friend and my attorney.
Oh, you're the one that's going to give Mary Alice away. I'm Joe Carson, her intended fiancé.
You are a lucky man, Mr. Carson.
And I'm Kate Bradley.
How do
his
you do?
niece.
How are you, Counselor? I'm Sam Drucker. I'm Justice of the Peace. I'm going to tie the knot.
Yeah. Come on, I'll show you to your room.
Oh, wait a minute, Kate. We may need him for a rehearsal.
Oh, we don't need a rehearsal. All Mr. Webster has to do is to lead Mary Alice down the stairs to the bottom where you'll be standing with your knees knocking. After that, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to, I now pronounce you man and wife.
I still think we need a rehearsal. He don't know the stairs too good.
Oh, Uncle Joe, Mr. Webster will be able to get Mary Alice down the stairs with no trouble. Come along.
Of course he will, darling. And before you know it, we'll be Mr. and Mrs.
Oh, Mary Alice.
What you doing?
Fixing the honeymoon express.
Well, come on. We're the best man.
Hey, you busted my rice bag.
That mutt wasn't supposed to be in the parade.
Uncle Joe, I think he's trying to tell you something.
Huh? Dear Joe, when you read this, Boo Boo and I will...
Oh, Uncle Joe, I don't know what to say.
Poor Uncle Joe.
This is awful.
Yeah, Joe, we're sorry. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Joe, next time.
Ain't gonna be no next time. I've learned my lesson. When a girl leaves you standing at the altar once, you should stay left.
Uncle Joe, this is going to sound awful selfish, but I'm kind of glad it happened because I don't know how we'd have gotten along without you.
I was worried about that, too.
Oh, Uncle Joe.
That's why after the honeymoon, Mary Alice and I were going to move right back here with you.
Well, I guess we better break this up.
Yeah, we'll see you, Joe.
Bye, Joe.
Hold on. There was going to be a party, wasn't there?
Well, yeah, but to celebrate the wedding.
Well, according to this letter, that's took place. Now that the shock's all worn off, I'm doggone glad to be able to celebrate the fact that it wasn't mine. Come on, everybody, let's celebrate.
Yeah, come on, we have plenty of food. Come on.
Come on, everybody.
Peoticoat Junction.
This has been a Filmways presentation.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Peoticoat Junction.
So finally, the secretarial school decided to have the contest.
How long before supper will be ready?
Soon. Go on, Billy Joe, so the school decides to have a contest.
To find out what? How long a man can go without eating?
Uncle Joe, Billy's trying to tell us how she won herself a job.
A job?
That'll take your appetite away.
So anyway, they picked the best 4 students. There was Gwen Phelps, Etta Fowler, and Prunella Plout.
You mean you won out over Selma's daughter?
Yeah. Wait till Mom starts rubbing it in. Selma, has your daughter been in any contest with my daughter lately? My daughter is...
Go on, Billy Joe.
Well, the contest was really a test, and the teacher gave us this very hard dictation, which we had to type up. And we were judged on speed, neatness, and accuracy. And I won.
Oh, I'm very proud of you.
Yeah, me too. When do we eat?
Oh, wait a second. What kind of job did you win?
I am going to be private secretary to Oliver Fenton.
Who's Oliver Fenton?
Mr. Fenton is only the writer that has written some of our best sellers. There was Dr. Love, Fall on a Spring Afternoon, and his last book won a Best Award, The Carpet Sweepers.
I never read it, but it sure sounds like a real lint picker.
I don't know anybody named Fenton lives around here.
Oh, he doesn't. Mr. Fenton spends part of the time in Paris, part of the time in Rome, and he spends the rest of the time in New York.
Then why does he want to live in Hooterville?
For atmosphere. His next book is about a small town.
Say, what's Mr. Fenton like?
I don't know. He doesn't get in till tomorrow night, and I don't go to work till 9 the next morning.
Honey, why don't you tell us the rest of this at supper? Uncle Joe's starving.
Not anymore, I ain't.
What do you think? It is not.
Joe?
Mom, does this look all right?
You gonna wear it Saturday night?
No, I'm gonna wear it to work.
No, you're not. Wear this. It's more suitable for business.
But Mr. Fenton isn't a businessman. He's a writer.
Then let's keep his mind on his writing.
But, Mom, this is so unsophisticated. Mr. Fenton has traveled all over the world.
Then he isn't interested in sightseeing.
Mom.
You want to catch your death of cold? Sitting around with bare shoulders in a drafty office?
Oh, I won't be working in an office. Mr. Fenton has rented the old Ramsey house.
What?
All writers work at home.
His wife gonna be around?
Oh, he's not married.
Then wear this.
Mom, this needs shortening.
I'll shorten it.
You haven't got the right color thread.
I'll get it.
I don't want to cause you any trouble.
Then wear this.
Billy Joe going to work.
Yep.
It seems like only yesterday I caught her with her hand in the jelly bean jar. As a matter of fact, it was only yesterday. I turned my back.
Oh, morning, Kate.
Morning, Selma.
Morning, Sam.
Selma?
Has your daughter been in any contest with my daughter lately?
You're referring to that contest they had at the school. Even if Prunella had won it, I wouldn't have permitted her to take the job.
Why not?
I'm a little more careful than some people about who I'd let my daughter work for.
Now, there's a remark that's going to need some explaining.
Do you know what kind of books Oliver Fenton writes?
No, what kind?
That kind.
Well, what kind's that kind?
The kind no decent, self-respecting woman would be caught dead reading. Take his last one, the Carpet Sweepers.
Oh, you read it?
Of course.
And was it that kind of book?
Definitely.
Well, I like to make up my own mind. I'll get it out of the library and I'll read it myself.
You won't find it in the library.
Well, you still got it out?
I had it banned, both here in Hooterville and in Pixley.
How about that? Selma is a two-city book banner.
If you doubt my judgment, I'll loan you my copy.
Well, I'd be obliged.
I keep it under lock and key. I wouldn't want my son to find it.
Of course not. The boy's only 32 years old.
Do you know anything about Oliver Fenton?
Only that he writes those kind of books.
What kind? Oh, Sam. Would you mind sitting over there? You're a little too young for this.
Hey.
Later.
Hey,
Mom. Later. Later. Billy Joe?
Hi, Mom. Did you get the thread?
I won't need it. You're not going to work for Mr. Fenton.
Why not?
Did you ever read any of his books?
No.
Read this. No, don't.
What's the matter with you?
There's nothing the matter with me. You're just not going to work for him.
Well, you just can't say I'm not going to work for him without giving me a reason.
Oh, I've got plenty of reasons, and they're all in this book. For once in her life, Selma Plaut was right.
About what?
Oliver Fenton. Here, read this. Go ahead.
Tony took Lisa in his arms and kissed her ardently. Don't seem to be too much action.
Mom, is that why you won't let me work for Mr. Fenton? Because he writes love stories?
Mm-hmm.
You've read love stories.
Yes, I have. But there's a difference between reading them and having some world-traveling man dictating them to my daughter.
Hey, he ain't a bad-looking feller for a writer.
He's handsome.
Take a good look at him. It's the last you're going to see of him.
Mom! I won the contest and I got the job and I'm going to take it.
Did you see what a bad influence he is on you? You're defying your mother.
I'm not defying you. All I'm saying is that you're being unreasonable.
All I'm saying is the matter is closed.
Well, looks like supper's going to be late again tonight. Girl's in there sobbing her eyes out.
I'm sorry, Uncle Joe.
You're just being stubborn.
I am not being stubborn. I'm just not changing my mind.
Kate, that's not like you. You've always prided yourself on the fact that you brought your daughters up knowing right from wrong. Billy's got a pretty good right.
I don't like the idea of her sitting there while somebody makes up all this romantic goulash in front of her. She might get to take it personally.
Ah, there ain't nothing romantic in this book.
Oh. Page 62, Tony kisses Lisa. Page 64, Tony kisses Alice. Page 68, Tony kisses Wanda.
Just shows Tony knows a lot of girls, likes to kiss them.
Did you know that Selma Plaut had this book banned from the Hooterville Library?
Selma Plaut.
Yes, she was in Sam's.
And needled you right out of your good senses. She's just jealous because Billy Joe went out over Prunella. All I gotta say is if Billy Joe was my daughter, Selma Plaut or nobody else would talk me out of not trusting her.
But I do trust her.
Then why is she in there crying bags under her eyes so she won't be able to go to work tomorrow?
You know, Uncle Joe, it's just a shame you never had children of your own.
No, thanks. It's tough enough being mother to them three.
me. I'm Billy Joe Bradley.
Oh, from the secretarial school. Come in.
Oh, thank you. Is Mr. Fenton in?
I'm Mr. Fenton.
Mr. Fenton Jr., the writer.
Oh, that's me. I've been working all night. Oh, that was taken 30 years ago. It's just the skin that's aged. I was wearing this, and that was taken. Somehow, the stuff I write calls for a man with hair. Have you read it?
No, sir. You've been banned in Hooterville.
Oh, yes. I was banned in Pixley, too. And I'm on the borderline in Crabwell Corners.
Mr. Fenton, I hope you don't hold this against me, but I'm not like the rest of Hooterville. I may be a small-town girl, but I've got a big city outlook.
Hold it. Hold it. I hope you won't hold this against me, Mr. Dillingham. I'm not like the rest of Snyderville. I may be a small-town girl, but I've got a big city outlook. Oh, that will be a great line for Candice. She's my cornball heroine.
Mr. Fenton.
Oh, no offense, but that line had the ring of truth to it. That's why I came here to write, to get the flavor of a small town and its people.
Oh, well, then I can help you with your novel. Gee, you wouldn't believe some of the things that have happened to me. For instance, Henry Brewster came over one night to take me for a ride, and we went up in the...
Oh, excuse me. It's not boredom. I just need some sleep. I finished almost 2 chapters last night. Will you type them up and make 2 copies?
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, and by the way, Miss Bradley, will you keep this between you, me, and Julius? Good night.
Good night.
Chapter 1. George Blackwell took Candice in his arms and kissed her ardently. She hadn't seen him for some time, so this was a very fond meeting for both of them.
Kate, I just got back from town. I took a walk down by the old Ramsey place.
What for?
Well, I thought you might be worried about Billy Joe.
I'm not.
Kate, the shades were down.
Would you like a piece of pie?
Didn't you hear me? The shades were down.
Yes, I heard. I've got blueberry and apple.
What kind of a mother are you? Your daughter's alone in that house with that kissing story writer. The shades are down, and all you do is stand around and offer me my choice of blueberry and apple. I'll take apple.
I'm not worried.
Why not?
You told me not to.
The reason I told you not to worry is because I didn't want to worry you.
Oh.
If you'd listened to me in the first place, you wouldn't let her take this job.
You were the one that told me it was all right.
Well, how did I know you was going to take my advice? You never have before.
I never will again.
Take my advice and go into town and get her out of there. I was up half the night reading that book.
Uncle Joe, calm down. Billy Joe's all right.
Well, how can you be sure?
Mothers have a way of knowing.
George Blackwell took Daphne in his arms and kissed her ardently. He had kissed many girls before. Allison, Marjorie, Gwendolyn, Florence, Sylvia, Agnes.
Excuse me, is Wallace Halliburton here? Oh, say, aren't you Billy Joe Bradley? Why, Billy Joe, what are you doing here?
I might ask you the same thing.
Well, I came to see Wallace Halliburton. If he ain't here, I'll wait.
Mr. Halliburton lives 2 blocks down.
Oh, when did he move?
Right after you sold him the house.
Sally, Marie.
Are you the lady that shipped a crate of rhubarb to... Billy Joe, imagine seeing you here.
Imagine anybody wanting to ship rhubarb this time of year.
Hothouse.
It's hot air.
Billy Joe, that's funny. Hot air, hot house.
Charlie, when's Floyd due?
Well, he's supposed to be... What do you mean?
I mean, tell him not to bother. Bye.
Hi, Billy Joe. Charlie didn't give me a message not to bother you, so...
When he does, don't. Oh, Mom, there you are.
Billy Joe, home from work already?
Oh, didn't your spies report when I left work?
Spies?
Oh, didn't they tell you the exact time that I kissed Mr. Fenton goodbye?
They didn't say one word about your kissing Mr.
Mom, how could you?
Mother's practically been beside herself with worry. It's all I could do to keep her from going in herself.
What?
Kate, next time take my advice. When I tell you not to worry, don't worry.
Joe.
Hi, Billy Joe. How'd the work go today?
Oh, well, it's hard to say. I spent most of the afternoon opening the door.
Yeah, your mother's been so worried about Billy Joe.
So if you don't keep quiet.
Well, I've had my say. Remember my advice. Don't worry.
What kind of man is Mr. Fenton?
Always charming.
Is his hair really that wavy?
Oh, yes. I couldn't take my eyes off of it all day.
Betty Joe, we need a couple serving spoons.
Is the work hard?
It's fascinating. Well, just sitting there listening to Mr. Fenton's thrilling voice, dictating the most romantic passages. Cynthia, I love you. But it's as though he were saying, Billy Joe, I love you.
Tomorrow you start looking for another job.
Oh, Mr. Fenton's counting on me. Well, he's going to put me in his novel. To him, I'm Hooterville.
What kind of dull book is he writing?
There's nothing dull about it. Why, he's going to use some of the romantic things that have actually happened to me.
What other incidents are you planning to reveal to Mr. Fenton?
Oh, well, remember the time that Doc Stewart had to go to the county seat, and I had to nurse Mr. Ziffel's prize sow back to health?
Nurse his prize?
Mom, that was drama.
You know, Uncle Joe was right. I don't have anything to worry about.
Candice was shocked. She pushed George away from her and said, something in here smells like fly spray. What was I saying?
Candice was shocked. She pushed George away from her and said, something in here smells like fly spray.
No, I was just commenting that you're wearing perfume.
Yes, sir. Fireball. Do you like it?
Well, it's unique.
And today, for the first time, Oliver noticed the perfume I was wearing.
Took him a week to notice that? Has he got a cold?
Well, perhaps he never stood as close to me as he did today.
I'm not worried.
Miss Bradley, can you read the name of this city? This type is so small.
Here?
No. There.
Oh, Wagonville.
Looked like Wigginville to me. Boy, you sure have wonderful eyes.
And then Oliver took my hand in his and said, Billy Joe, you have such wonderful eyes.
I'm not worried.
George's practiced eye scanned the cozy little table. All was ready for Candice. The trap was baited with candles, champagne, and caviar. You like caviar, Miss Bradley?
Oh, I've never, turned it down.
I always serve my women caviar and champagne. You know, I've almost finished half the book, thanks to your efficiency.
I'm glad to have been an inspiration to you.
Yes. Oh, you're a very fine typist. I wish I could take you to Paris to work with me on my next book.
Oh, thank you.
My publisher asked me to send as much as I could as quickly as possible. Perhaps if you came early tomorrow morning, you could retype...
Well, listen, if it's important, I can come back tonight and work.
Billy Joe, you're late.
The Cannonball had boiler trouble.
Oh, well, sit down. We haven't started yet.
Oh, I haven't got time. I have to change and get back to town. Oliver and I are working late tonight.
Don't that worry you?
No. Billy Joe, you should have some supper.
I'm having dinner with Oliver.
Wow.
You picked the right night. We're having leftovers.
What are you having?
Oliver always serves his women caviar and champagne.
Wow.
Well, couldn't you do this work tomorrow?
When Oliver needs me, I must go to him. He told me I was his inspiration. He'd like to take me to Paris. Au revoir.
I'm worried.
Come on, unlock this door. Oliver's expecting me.
Don't worry. One of the Bradley girls is going to keep your dinner date.
Mom!
Where's Oliver Fenton?
I'm Oliver Fenton.
You're a... Where's your wavy hair?
Over there.
Mr. Fenton, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, why? Lots of men wear them.
Not to try and deceive young girls into drinking caviar and champagne so as you can lure them to Paris.
Lure them? Who are you, madam?
I'm Billy Joe's mother. That's who I am.
Oh, well, now, there's been a misunderstanding.
Oh, there certainly has. And I'm here to straighten it out. Now, you may give all your other women caviar and champagne, but not my Billy Joe.
Oh, hold it. Huh. There's your champagne and caviar. It's a ham sandwich and a bottle of pop. I got 'em for her at the diner.
Probably your supper.
Oh, I can't eat that stuff. I've got ulcers. You are not doing them any good.
What about Paris? Billy Joe never lies to me, and she said that you said...
All I said was she was a very good typist, and I wish I could take her to Paris. To type.
How come you got close enough to her to sniff her perfume?
Sniff it? I've got sinus trouble. I've got high blood pressure. I'm too old to play games. And the only thing that I'm interested in chasing is a sure cure for baldness.
I must admit that after seeing you, you're not exactly Billy Joe's type. But why would she say you said those things?
Whatever she said, I probably did say. But she took them out of context and made them sound romantic.
That's my Billy Joe.
Why don't we sit down and talk this over calmly?
Well...
have you had supper yet?
No.
Well, be my guest. And you've never eaten caviar, Mrs. Bradley?
No.
All the women in my books eat caviar.
Well, it doesn't do anything for me except make me thirsty.
Oh.
Or maybe it was a ham sandwich.
Some more mineral water?
No, thank you. You like that stuff?
Well, they say it's good for my ulcers. Now, you were telling me that when your husband passed away, you were left with the 3 girls and the hotel.
That's right.
What kind of guests do you get?
Mostly traveling salesmen.
Traveling salesmen, eh?
It's from New York. Hurry up and open it up. Come on, Mom.
I'm doing the best I can.
It's a book.
Yes. Ollie promised to send me a copy.
Ollie?
Oliver.
Oh, wow.
Woman with a hotel.
Gosh, the book he dictated to me wasn't about a hotel.
It wasn't?
There's something written in here. To Kate Bradley, a woman with a story that needed telling. Affectionately, Ollie.
Mom, he wrote a book about you.
What's he to write about me?
Stanley Markham walked up the steps of the Leafy Bower Hotel and put down his sample case. Uncle Jonas creaked up from his favorite rocker and said, "She's a-waiting for you, son." Stanley rushed into the lobby, and there she was, Catherine Hadley. He took her in his arms and kissed her ardently.
Mom! Oh, it's not true. None of it. All I did was tell him a little bit about how I came to run a hotel, and he turned on his machine and his imagination. Now, girls, let this be a lesson to you. When a man offers you caviar and champagne, you know what he's up to. But look out for the one that sneaks up on you with a ham sandwich and mineral water.
Junction.
This has been a Filmways presentation.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Peoticoat Junction.
Something wrong?
I'm expecting a phone call from Henry Brewster.
Well, he's not going to call you on that phone.
I know. It's ridiculous having a telephone that's never been connected. Why did Uncle Joe put it up?
Because it gives the hotel an air class.
But it doesn't work.
Hey, you know it, and I know it. Some of the guests don't know it.
A telephone that doesn't work, an elevator that doesn't work.
All installed by the manager, who also doesn't work.
Uncle Joe, do you realize that we are the only girls in the whole valley who don't have a telephone?
We're social outcasts. Yeah. I could have played shortstop for the Hooterville Hawks 3 times. They couldn't get in touch with me.
Girls ain't supposed to be shortstops.
It isn't that I don't want a telephone. It's just that we can't afford it.
But it can't cost more than $5 or $6 a month. We can earn that much.
It's the cost of installing the phone that's holding us back.
But Sue Ann Carter told me hers only costs $10 to install.
Our phone will cost in the neighborhood of $800.
Why should it cost so much?
Because the main telephone line runs along the county road. And if we want to hook into it, it means that we got to pay for stringing over 2 miles of wire from the hotel down to the road.
Well, I guess we'll just have to go on being isolated from the world.
But you're not isolated. You get your phone calls at Sam's store.
And when Mr. Collins heard that his taxes were to be raised, he got very angry and aggravated. Agricultured. Now, why would he get agricultured?
Floyd, don't you hear the phone ringing?
Yeah.
Well, why the heck don't you answer it?
I ain't expecting a call.
Of all that ding-dong.
Don't get agricultured.
Hello? Who? Oh, Henry Brewster? Oh, Henry, I'm right in the middle of putting up a... Floyd, leave that alone before you ruin it.
I ain't gonna ruin it. I started the 2 bottom rows, didn't I?
What's the message, Henry? Yeah? Can Billy Joe go to the picture show with you Saturday night? Uh-huh. To see... What's the name? The Mad Ghoul of Putney Downs. Yeah, I'll see she gets the message. Charlie, will you run this out to Billy Joe?
Sure. Come on, Floyd.
Man can't get any work done around here.
I left my hat. I suppose you'd rather I caught a cold.
4 pounds lard. What else, Miss Waller? 2 pounds bacon. Yeah, I got it. And what else? Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Sam, how much longer are you going to be?
Mrs. Waller's giving me a big order.
Call her back. Billy Joe's waiting for an answer, and it's important.
Oh, well, Miss Waller's, I'll have to call you back. Oh, Sarah, get me Henry Brewster, urgent. Hello, Henry? I got an important message for you from Billy Joe. She wants to know what the picture is about. I thought you said this was important.
It is. She don't know if she's seen it.
What? Now, just a second, Henry. Start all over again and real slow so I can get it down. Lord who? Lord Lackwell, yeah. Member of Parliament, respected. When the moon is full, he turns into a what? Oh, yeah.
What's he turn into?
And he kills who? Spell it. A-P-P-E-R.
Agricultured?
Apperson. Cedric Apperson.
Who's he?
Lady Devonshire's butler.
Who's she?
Lord, will you be quiet so Sam can concentrate?
And he's caught by Inspector Snaggleson. In whose yard? Oh, of Scotland Yard. Bye. Charlie, tell Billy Joe Henry's waiting for an answer.
Come on, Floyd, let's get rolling.
Hello, Sarah? Would you get me Mrs. Waller's back? Oh, no, hold it. The train's pulling out and Charlie's got her shopping list. Because I had to write the story of the mad ghoul of Putney Downs on the back of it. Putney Downs. Well, never mind. The train's gone now.
Sounds like a good picture, Billy Joe.
All right. Tell Mr. Drucker to call Henry and tell him I'd like to see it. And to pick me up about...
8 o'clock, Henry. And Billy Joe says not to be late. Well, I'm glad we got that settled. This one goes out to Billy Joe, and this one to Bobby Joe.
Come on, Floyd.
Hello? Who? Hold it, fellers. I got a message for Betty Joe, too. For you from Betty Joe. One says no, and the other one says yes. Now, I don't know what order they came in. What? Don't worry. I'll see that she gets it. I'll deliver it in person, along with a message from me to them. No more messages.
He's not going to take any more messages for us?
No, and I don't blame Sam. I had no idea what was going on.
Well, I guess this is goodbye to civilization. The 3 Bradley girls are doomed to live out their lives, cut off from all human contact.
Farewell, world.
Oh, you're not taking them seriously.
Sisters, enjoy yourself Saturday night because it'll be your last date.
Well, wither on the vine.
Sam Drucker ain't gonna condemn these girls to a life of old maidenhood. I'm getting a telephone.
Uncle Joe, a real one that's connected to people?
In the famous words of Alexander Graham Bell, I'm going to open my own telephone company.
What is that?
Remember what Uncle Joe said about starting his own phone company? Well, this is it.
What?
I think Uncle Joe wants to talk to you.
Oh, hold on, I want to talk to him. Hello? Is that you, Uncle Joe?
Yeah, Kate, hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me all right?
Just fine.
Yeah, I can hear you, too, just as plain as if you're standing right here.
I am.
How do you like it? I bought this from the Army and Navy surplus store in Pixley. $10.50.
Take down the wires.
Kate, these phones is going to be the means of bringing all the disconnected people in the valley together, including the girls. And everybody that subscribes to my phone company has to buy a set of these. One of the biggest selling points to my company is... Hello, hello.
Hello?
Kate, one of the big selling points to my company is, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Who's this?
Betty Joe.
I want to talk to your mother.
Hold the phone.
Women ain't got no scientific sense.
Yes, Uncle Joe?
Kate, Kate, one of the big selling points to my company is that it won't cost a cent to string the wire. The wire's already in.
What wire?
Barbed wire. Betty Jo asked her science teacher, and he said my plan would work.
Barbed wire?
Yeah, there's miles and miles of barbed wire fence running from farm to farm. Just itching to be hooked into a telephone circuit.
Uncle Joe?
Yeah?
Give me a ring sometime.
Hi, Joe. Hey, I want to get that 20 cents back I lost last week.
I want a different seat this time.
Let's make deuces wild.
Don't go in there.
Ain't we going to play in the dining room?
We ain't gonna play.
How come?
I've decided to call the game off.
What? Then why didn't you let us know?
How could I get in touch with you? Do you have a phone, Ben?
Nope.
Do you, Newt?
No, don't believe I do.
How about you, Fred?
Now, you know I ain't got no phone.
Gentlemen, I've used this dramatic illustration to bring out the real purpose of this meeting. Now, if you'll all sit down...
Joe, we didn't come here for no meeting.
No, we came out here to play poker.
Yeah.
Will you sit down and listen?
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Friends, how many times have you sat in the living room staring at your wife, wishing you had somebody to talk to?
I ain't married.
Well, if you were, you'd know the feelings. All through the ages, at times like these, man's thoughts turn to the best friend he's got, the telephone.
Let's go, fellers.
Sit down.
If you're trying to change my mind about taking messages, you're wasting my time.
Sit down. Thanks to your selfish attitude of non-message taking, I've been forced to take over the Valley's communications problems single-handed. Gentlemen, I give you progress. Where's progress?
Oh, Joe.
Save your questions till later.
It wasn't going to be a question. It was going to be a statement. I think you're...
Save your praise till later, too.
It wasn't going to be...
Sit down.
Let's listen to Joe.
Yeah, he might say something sensible for a change.
Gentlemen, what would you say if I was to tell you you could have your phone service free of charge for the rest of your lives merely by purchasing one of these phones at the nominal charge of $10.50? Well, what would you say?
You're off your rocker.
Sam, you've got a phone.
Well, now, if there's some way we can get one, we want to hear it.
I direct your attention to the sales tableau, which will now take place.
Hello? Hello? Oh, why doesn't she hear me?
Because the Hooterville Telephone Company charges so much to string the lines.
Oh, if there was just some cheap way to connect us up. I am a barbed wire fence that you can find all over the valley.
Me too. Come on, let's go see if we can find some bicarb of soda.
I can solve your problem. Just connect to me. Hello? Hello? I can hear you. It is a miracle.
How'd they do that?
Thank you, telephone girls and barbed wire fence. Now for the master wiring diagram. We'll run a wire from the Shady Rest down to the Shady Rest stop, where we'll connect it to the rail. Because the rails are separated, Charlie and Floyd will put jumper wires between the rail ends.
Charlie, you smell something burning?
Yeah, Floyd, it's me.
The current travels down the rails till it comes to the end of Ben Miller's fence, then continues on to Fred Ziffel's pig farm. Then barbed wires to Newt Kiley's place. Then back to the track, to Hooterville Station, where it joins the Hooterville Telephone Company.
ask permission to do that?
I don't need permission. We're brother phone companies.
You got a wire clipper, brother?
Now, why'd you do that?
To save you 10 years in the hoosegow. Don't you know it's against the law to tamper with the equipment of a bona fide telephone company?
My company's bona fide.
Your company is rinky-dink.
Instead of interfering with other people's business, why don't you go back to your store and jack up a few prices?
Okay, I'll see you Sunday, if the warden will let you have visitors.
10 years. How old will you be when you get out, Joe?
You know, I was just thinking, why should I connect up the modern facilities of my phone company with the old-fashioned equipment of the Hooterville Telephone Company?
Well, if you don't connect up, what good's your company?
Floyd, Charlie, how would you like to be coordinating vice presidents of the Inter Valley Telephone Company? Kate? Girls? I give you progress. Oh, we don't need that anymore. Stupid dog. He gets one moment of glory and he can't forget it.
Well, who's going to make the first call?
I think the honor should go to Uncle Joe.
That's mighty thoughty of you, Kate.
And if you don't get electrocuted, we'll try.
What are you going to say, Uncle Joe?
Well,
How about saying what Alexander Graham Bell said when he made his first call? What was it? Oh, yeah. Come here, Watson. I need you.
Hello?
come here, Watson. I need you.
There ain't nobody here named Watson. You got the wrong number.
Here, what are you trying?
Why don't you call somebody, Mom?
Who?
Call Sam Drucker. Let him know we ain't dependent on him anymore for messages.
Hello?
Ben, could you put me through to Hooterville?
Hold on, Kate.
Hey, Arnold, you get back in there and finish your nap. Hello, Fred Ziffel.
Fred, Kate wants to talk to Hooterville.
Oh, Hooterville. Okay, Ben.
Hello? Hello, Fred. No, nothing. I was just taking a bath. Hooterville? Yeah, hold on.
Vice President in charge of coordinating.
Well, I want Hooterville.
This is Hooterville.
Oh, yeah, hold on. We're through to Hooterville, Fred.
Okay, through to Hooterville.
Go ahead with your call, Kate.
Hello? Hello?
You're through to Hooterville, Kate.
Hello? What's wrong?
Sorry, Kate. You were talking into Charlie's mouth.
Charlie, could you get me Sam Drucker?
Hold it, Kate. Hello, Sari. Connect me to Sam Drucker's store. Deposit how much? Have you got a dime? There it is.
Don't tell me Carson's Folly's working.
First call's going through. Phone's ringing, Sam.
Doggone it, I wanted to see this.
Sarah's ringing him, Kate.
Thanks, Floyd.
Hello, Drucker's store.
Sam, I got a call for you. Hello?
Hello? Hello, Sam.
Kate, how are you?
Just fine. I just thought I'd call up and say hello.
Hello.
Goodbye.
Here, we better ring on.
Me. But Eloise is waiting for her algebra homework.
I have to talk to Henry.
Now hold it. Billy, Bobby, Betty. Tomorrow we reverse the order.
Hello? Hooterville? Hold on. Doggone.
Goodbye, baby, in the treetop. When the wind blows, that cradle will rock. Hello, Hooterville? Now, Arnold, you get back in there and finish your nap.
Hello? Hooterville? Yeah, hold on.
Yes, Henry, it was just installed and you're the very first one I called.
Oh, you were? Well, what about? Hello? Hello? Oh, you faded out for a minute.
A dance? Oh, I'd love to.
Here, Arnold. Back here. Arnold, them strawberries ain't for you. Get down off that table.
Well, everybody thinks I look ravishing and...
And I ain't a-gonna. I'm unhooking from the party line so's I can get some work done.
And so am I. Arnold ain't had his nap for days, and he's got big circles under his eyes.
And I caught a cold in my nose, and I got to repair my barbed wire fence.
We can't run the cannonball. We spend all our time around the station coordinating.
Hold it, fellas. You're going to have to make sacrifices if you want to enjoy progress. We don't need that.
Gosh, if you pull out of the party line and Mr. Drucker won't take messages, what are we going to do?
Well,
we're sorry, Betty Jo.
Mom, when you were a girl living way out here, how did you ever get a date? Let alone get married? What, cut off from civilization?
No, the thing that...
She was never cut off from civilization out here. She was in touch with Hooterville all the time.
That's right.
The railroad was busy then, and Kate helped us out, and we helped her out.
Uh-huh. And
remember, Kate?
How can you forget those things? And Henry wants to know what time?
Tell him to pick me up at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. This is for Henry.
And this one is to Betty from the Hooterville Hawks.
When you missed practice, the coach got very agricultured?
Peoticoat Junction.
This has been a Filmways presentation.